What a lot of guys don't realize is that there are some things that you could do that are so easy that make for a better sexual experience for both you and the girl. And some of these are actually scientifically proven, and I'm going to be sharing them with you today on this video. But let's clean up a little bit first. Okay, there we go, that's much better. Now today's video, I'm gonna be giving you about 7 tips that are gonna make your sexual experience 100 times better. And if you're not having sex with anyone right now, or you're not in a relationship, I would still watch this video because you never know the next time that you will be with a girl, and these tips are gonna be amazing for you, and they're gonna work like a charm. A lot of this information is coming from either my own personal experience or some scientific studies that I've read about on the internet, or actually talking to women and them telling me what their experiences are like and how they can be better. So let's dive in. The first thing is a lot of guys, they have trouble with finishing too fast because it's very sensitive, especially when you're with the girl that you're very attracted to, right? So here is the tip. You need to masturbate before you end up meeting up with the girl. So if you're in a relationship or you're dating a girl, you know that sex is gonna happen and you don't wanna finish too fast, you want to masturbate. Why this works so well is because if you masturbate before you end up seeing a woman, so say it's in the same day, which is what I'm talking about here, right? You do it earlier on in the day and then you end up seeing her later on at night, you are desensitizing yourself sexually, right? Because you know that if you haven't masturbated or been with a girl for a while, you're that much more sensitive because you haven't experienced it in a while, okay? So make sure that you do that so it desensitizes you. Now, it doesn't help in every case. This is not the end-all be-all. If you do that, then boom, you're completely desensitized and you're not gonna finish fast. You still might, but I promise you, if you do it that day, it's gonna be a little bit less sensitive and therefore you're not gonna be finishing that fast. Here's something you have to understand about female anatomy and the brain. Her brain is very much connected to her pleasure. That means that if a girl is stressed out, if she's anxious, if she's not feeling safe, it's gonna be hard for her to feel turned on. So this next tip is about dirty talk, but not just dirty talk in the way that's gonna turn her on, but make her feel comfortable. So a lot of the times, it takes a woman a longer time to finish and have an orgasm than a man, especially if she's in her head, right? So it could take her a while, whether you guys are having sex or having oral sex, either way. So one thing you can do to make her comfortable, to let her know that it's okay that she's taking a long time, is you say these words. I love doing this, I could do this all day. Maybe you say this during oral sex, or maybe if you're using your fingers for stimulation. Either way, you say, I love this, I could do this all day. Because the longer it takes her, if she's in her head about it, it could take her longer because she's thinking, oh my God, this is taking so long. I hope he's not annoyed or bored or thinking different of me, right? So you let her know and reassure her it's okay that you love doing it, and that will help her bring herself to climax. Another tip I got was from my friend Jonathan Asley, who's actually a dating coach for women. And I had him on a podcast maybe like a few years ago where we talked about this, and this is really cool. So a lot of guys, when they're going down on a girl, you're having oral sex, they use the tip of their tongue, right? So instead of using the tip of your tongue, which is intuitive, a lot of guys think, oh, let's just use that because that is licking the clitoris, which is small, so you're using the tip of your tongue, which is also small. So a lot of guys will do that. However, it should be the opposite. Use your entire tongue. Use all of it to lick her clitoris. Use that entire thing because there's so many nerve endings in and around there that it's gonna feel much better. So make sure that you're doing that to increase the stimulation when you're having oral sex with her, and that will give her a lot of pleasure. All right, let's call my friend Caitlin V, who is a sex expert for men, in terms of the next tip.
Hey Tripp, what's up?
What's up, Caitlin?
How are you?
What are you doing?
Oh, I was putting on some makeup. What you doing?
Oh, you know, just recording a YouTube video right now as we speak. You're on the air.
Right now?
Right now.
Oh, hey, okay, hey. What's up?
Say hello to the maybe hundreds of thousands of people watching this video.
Oh my God, hello everybody. Hi, how are you? Caitlin V here.
Yeah, Caitlin V, best sex coach in the world. So I called her because I know that she's got a great tip for you guys. So Caitlin, I know this is a lot of pressure, but in under 1 minute, just off the top of your head, and I'm sure you get this all the time, it's probably an annoying question because you got to really dive deep here, but what is one of the best sex tips you have for guys? Literally anything, just go.
Ooh, one of the best sex tips for guys. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what's been on my mind lately because of some fun that I had over the weekend. How's that sound?
Go. I love it.
Okay. So this is it's a little on the kinky side, but I think it's still like it'll appeal to a wide audience. Let me tell you that much. So this is the tease and spank. Okay. So I love a good spanking. I'll be the first to admit it. I think a lot of women enjoy spanking. So obviously this is like a tip for if you know that your woman is at least like okay with spanking. You know, maybe you don't pull it out the first time you have sex, but like you might be able to, depending on the kind of girl you're with. Anyways, this is what you do. You have her either bent over, you're behind her, you're at home. She could have her clothes on. They could be all the way off. But anyways, she's looking away from you. You've got a clear range of her behind, her booty. And this is what you do. You give it a little circle, gentle little rub, like you're warming it up to spank it, okay? Like nothing sucks worse than getting a spanking just out of the blue. I want like a little rub right on the skin, little gentle pressure, and then you reach back as if you're going to spank her ass, but then you don't do it. So you can rub, you pull back, like, you know, as if you're going to, and you can even like move forward, but just like not actually make contact with her ass. The anticipation it is so much more like arousing and delicious than actually getting spanked.
So you pull your hand back and then you don't do anything.
But you don't actually do anything, yeah.
What
you just like
a
let her
tip.
think that you're gonna spank her, and then you don't actually spank her. It's like, oh my god, I'll share. I did this to a woman over the weekend. I did this on Saturday. So I had her permission, like we talked about it beforehand. I reached up behind her and pulled her hair, and I said, "Can I spank you?" And she said, "Yes." We were already playing around a little bit, and I did that. I reached my hand back, and then I just flicked it forward. I didn't make any contact with her butt at all, and her knees literally like went out from underneath her. She almost fell over.
Caitlin V, check her out. I gotta give her a plug because she gave us such a great tip. Go to CaitlinV.com if you need any help with sex advice for you. Check it out. The next tip I'm going to attempt to explain in under 15 seconds, but basically it is giving the woman a G-spot orgasm, aka making a girl squirt or have a squirting orgasm. Why you should be doing this is because this is a very pleasurable move to do with a woman, and it will make her really want to come back for more. So basically what you're going to be doing is you're going to be using these two fingers right here. You're going to insert them in her vagina just about to this knuckle right here, and then you make a come hither motion which hits the G-spot, and you do that for as long as it takes to then have her have a G-spot orgasm. That is the very simplified version of it. If you want to learn more, what you can do is, well, actually hold on one second, is check out Magnetic, because in chapter 7 of this book I go and dive into exactly step by step how to do it and how to make it extremely comfortable for her and also easy for you to be able to do it. So check it out in the Magnetic book, which I'll put a link down below. You can get this on Amazon. Lots of guys are getting it. They're seeing a lot of results. Not only does it talk about the G-spot orgasm, but also full details on how to attract her from beginning to end, get over your approach anxiety, and get a girlfriend. The next tip is what you want to do is make sure that she has an orgasm before you have an orgasm. And I'm going to tell you why. So, of course, you want to be able to have mutual orgasms, mutual pleasure when you're with a woman. And so here's the thing. It might take a little bit longer for her to have an orgasm. Generally speaking, it does, because again, like I said, women are kind of in their head, and especially if you're new with a girl, it takes a lot longer. Well, here's what happens. If you have an orgasm before her, what happens with guys is they become very sexually uninterested, right? It's like they had their orgasm, they're kind of done. You kind of want to just lay there and just kind of hang out and roll over, maybe cuddle a little bit if you want to, but some guys are just like, I'm done, I had it. It's kind of like the sexual energy has been unleashed and out of me, so it kind of is hard for you to want to be there and have more of a sexual experience. So it's better to try to make her have an orgasm first and then you. And of course, if you make her have one first, what ends up happening is she can have more and more and more because she's already had one. Women are it's easier for women to have multiple orgasms versus a guy. The next thing, and this is coming from a lot of women who I've talked to, so whether it's the first time you're gonna have sex with a girl or the 100th time, make sure that when you guys are starting to have sex, that you don't just boom, shove it in, right? A lot of guys will think like, oh, I can just like put it in there and she just wants it so bad because I want it so bad. But female anatomy is different. It's very jolting when you just shove it in. So make sure that you go very slow. It's gonna feel better for her. It's gonna make for a more sensual experience. And then of course, after that, you can go faster, slower, whatever you wanna do. But in the insert, make sure it's nice and slow. Also, it makes you look less desperate, right? So if you're just trying to like shove it in and get it done, it's like, wow, this guy is so eager. It's like, why can't he just take his time? It's sexier when you take your time. Last tip is this. There was an actual study done that showed that when a woman has her socks on, it's much easier for her to reach orgasm. Okay, why is that the case? That's because when people have their socks on, they're ultimately more warm, okay? So if they're more warm, they're more comfortable. And when they're more comfortable, especially for a woman, right, she has to be comfortable, she has to feel safe, she has to feel out of her head, more in her body, then it's easier for her to reach orgasm. So what I want you to do is the next time you're gonna have sex with a woman, especially if it's hard for her to orgasm, make sure that she's wearing socks. Or at the very least, make sure wherever you are, you're in a temperature controlled place so she's not freezing cold or even too hot. You gotta have the nice, right conditions. So how do you make this work for you? Well, here's what I propose. What I want you to do is just focus on one of these at a time and really try to nail it down, because if you're trying to do everything at once, it's not gonna work. So whoever you're with right now, maybe it's a girlfriend or a girl, you guys are just, having sex casually, whatever the situation, use one, use it well, work on it, and then after you putting it into your routine and it's more habitual, use the next tip. That's how you're gonna get actual results from this. Now, I know a lot of guys who watch the channel leave comments and they say, well, why is it always about the girl? Why is it always about her? It seems like a lot of these tips are about pleasing her. Well, here's the thing. It's up to you to learn how to please her. It's up to her to please you. If she's not pleasing you, then this is not a good sexual partner for her. You don't have to be with her. You can always move on and be with someone else, or you can communicate to her what you like. So that's another big important thing here, is she might not know what you like. Communicate that to her. Tell her. Hopefully she's reciprocating after you're doing all these great things in the bedroom, right? You're pleasing her. Hopefully, again, with the law of reciprocity, she is reciprocating and wanting to do those things with you and wanting to have sex more with you. So it should go in a circle. That's the whole thing, is you don't have to stay with anyone, be with anyone, have sex with anyone who is not up to your standards. Remember that, something to think about. Don't forget to pick up a copy of my book, Magnetic, which is on Amazon right now, that can help you. And again, chapter 7 is the one you're gonna wanna go to. So check that out. I'll leave a link in the description below. Leave a comment for me. Let's talk about these tips in there, and I'll see you on the next video.